Jim Morrison was completely right when he said, "Who controls the media controls the mind." That's exactly what we're seeing today. The media's got way too many people's brains in a mold. And for some reason, people can't break that conditioning or that mold. Their brains are just stuck in this prefabricated cage. And something that I like to do in our lyrics and when we're on stage is to try to promote independent thought and questioning of some of these things that have been handed to us since birth. I want more people thinking for themselves and not just believing anything they're told. I think this boxed in kind of thinking is incredibly dangerous, not only to democracy, but to civilization and to the survival of the human race as a whole. Our society keeps getting closer and closer to the dystopian nightmares that sci-fi writers used to write about. And the only thing that could prevent us from getting into those kinds of situations is for people to snap out of their television stupor and start thinking for themselves and questioning some of the things that we've been spoon-fed since we were babies. We don't have time to argue about nonsense, about which of these two corrupt political parties is going to rule over us. The whole idea of America was not for the government to rule over anyone. The whole idea was for us to rule over ourselves, and we tell the government what to do. That was the whole foundation on the parchment for this country even existing. And a lot of people like to criticize the founding fathers because they were slaveholders and they were very flawed people. But I'm not a big, huge proponent of every action that the founding fathers ever took. I do, however, like the ideas that were written down on paper. I think the ideas that were written down are much more close to perfect than the guys that wrote the ideas. I think we really need to make a fundamental shift in consciousness and perspective and desire to get back to what those founding documents actually stood for and actually said. That we are all equal, men and women and children, and doesn't matter your race, religion, your sex, your sexual preference, age, size, none of that really matters. We're all the same and we all deserve the same amount of rights. And a big thing about the foundation of the country was that it was the people running the shit. It was not the government handing the rules down to the people. It was the people making up the rules for the government and the people governing themselves. A lot of people like to look at anarchy as if anarchy is some sort of chaos in the streets and there's no rules and no law and just everyone's a maniac, can get away with murder and just mass chaos. In my mind, anarchy could absolutely work if you have a community of people that are all kind of on the same page and not just total pieces of shit. If you have a bunch of people that all agree, like, okay, let's not kill each other or steal from each other or rape or kidnap or do anything like this, let's just all get along and not have a government, but just kind of everyone mind their own business and we'll be all right. That could work on a small scale. But all we ever hear about anarchy comes from the mainstream media. And they always associate anarchy or anarchists with burning cars and blood filling the gutters of the streets and just complete chaos and animalistic rules. Like people can't be civilized at all if people are claiming anarchy as their method of thought or considering themselves anarchists. On paper, anarchy is not too much different from libertarian ideas. It's basically don't steal my money and don't tell me what to do. Personally, I believe that as long as you're not infringing on the rights of others, you should be able to do whatever the hell you want. Since when do politicians in suits and ties know what's best for you? They don't. You know what's best for you. And again, I think that as long as you're not infringing on the rights of others, you should be able to do whatever you want. The people that were on that debate stage don't fall in line with that philosophy. Hey everybody, thanks a lot for checking this out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. If you want to support the podcast, you can always go to riffsordie.com and pick up some merch. You can also go to patreon.com/riffsordie and subscribe to become a patron. Feel free to shoot me an email at podcast@riffsordie.com. All questions and comments are welcome. Thanks a lot for your support. Take care, everybody.